Hello and happy Sunday, everybody. That's right, it's Sunday, we're back, and a couple of things have come in the mail this week, and I'm very excited about both of them. We're going to start right off, though, with a box from the Three Good Nerds. Link to them down below. If you don't know them, get on that, because you're going to get a little of everything. You're going to get pack openings, you're going to get TTMs, you're going to get coins, you're going to get food reviews, movie reviews, you're going to get it all. And on top of that, you're going to get a family that is having the absolute best time together, which I think is more important. Now then, what happened was the Nerd family had a live stream not that long ago in which they were giving out prizes for I believe a VR they did amongst amongst other things, and I was lucky enough to win one of the prizes. And the crazy thing is I watched the race, and it was one of those where I think they said that it was the first three places or the first two places they took, and that completely brain farted on me, and I was like, oh, I got second, didn't even think of it. So extra double surprise, and cannot wait to get in because I cannot honestly remember. But we have us a note, and we got, okay, good. And we get to do the first official thing. But first, the note from a writing desk far, far away. Zach, first, congratulations on winning a card in the VR contest, and thank you for taking the time to put a team together. That was fun. For those that don't remember, that was the, where you had to build a starting baseball team based on fictional baseball characters from movies or TV shows or anything like that. That was a lot of fun. I would love to do that with a football team, but that's going to take a while because it's 22 guys. I added a few things thinking that you may enjoy a little retro rip. Absolutely. See you in the chats. All the best, Justin and the Three Good Nerds. Well, thank you guys very much. And now you get to see my complete ineptitude going back to the olden days with stickers. Ooh. Well, I'm not peeling the back of that off. Absolutely not. That's going to get sleeved, actually. Because this is a limited 48 of 50. Let's go. You will take a place right there. And I do not, and for the time being, I will sleeve that up. But I'm not going to be ripping it. But let us get in. Actually, and here is the card that I won. And I am stoked. We've got an autograph from, oh, come on. An old school Bad News Bears. Man, I haven't watched this movie in a hot minute. And honestly, if you're going to do it, watch the original with Walter Matthau. Nothing against Billy Bob Thornton, but it just isn't the same. And we got an autographed Gary Lee Kevin Yarrow, a.k.a. Engelberg. And I had never seen these cards before, and these are fantastic. Kevin Yarrow's name may not jump off the page or ring a bell for most movie aficionados. A picture of Kevin Yarrow when he was a kid in the mid-1970s, however, leaves little doubt as to who he was and what movie he starred in. Cast as the chubby catcher Engelberg, who ate candy bars during practice. My spirit animal. Kevin Yarrow, who was part of the wild bunch of kids who comprised the Bad News Bears Little League team in the 1976 film. That is awesome. And a nice looking signature. Because guess what, kids, from back in the olden days, when you took the time. And I have never actually laid my hands on these before. Whoa, that's getting open today. And then there's, retro rips. And we're going to be featuring these in some others because, and this is the thing, old school Donruss. We're talking junk wax at its finest. And who was it the other day when we were mentioning, I was in the comments, they were talking about Pro Set. I think it was, somebody, like Canadian Card Breakers. We were talking about Pro Set for hockey specifically. He said it's kind of ironic. Oh, it was Jank Pack Thursday because I pulled the Ole Kolzig rookie card. He's like, it's kind of ironic that excuse me, kind of ironic that so many Hall of Famers were in the most card-rich period in all of creation, and it's kind of, like old vinyl. Everybody thinks the old vinyl records from back in the 70s, they're worth a fortune. No, they're not, because, when they say they made 1 million of them, or sold 1 million records, they sold literally 1 million records, and that was how it was. But there's all kinds of TTM fuel in here. Ooh, and some stuff I've never opened, which is extra good bonus. What is this? 92 Donruss? Ooh. Ooh, the original 6. I don't think I've ever actually opened a pack of these original 6 cards for hockey. These are cool. Ooh. Old school soccer? Pro set soccer. Let's go. That's getting added. And there's some TTM fuel in here. Well, hopefully there's going to be a lot of probably legends in there. Granted, I am going to send to Messi one of these days. You mark my words. More stuff. Oh, they hooked me up. And here's the thing. This was the prize, and this is all bonus. Oh, yeah. And I've always said, and I don't know if I've ever said it directly to them, I always felt... Oh, no, there's gum. Oh. Touché, good sir. Touché. Well, one of these is getting put in the jank box, that's for sure, because it has gum. Maybe all 3 of them. But I always felt 90 Bowman especially was an underappreciated series in baseball. Just a nice, simple, clean design. And these, he gets a lot of TTMs with these Olympic cards, and I keep mentioning I need to get some. And now we have 2 packs. Oh, this is definitely going to be a loose pack kind of day, care of the 3 good nerds. That is 100% for fact. But having done this, and before we get into our next piece of mail, our final piece of mail, I want to open this because I've never done it. We got to do it. We got to do it. So what we got in here anyway? 1 pop-up, 3 puzzle pieces, and 3 cards featuring the Roberto Clemente puzzle. Well, let's go. Roberto Clemente. So this is 86 Donruss Major... Ooh, giant cards! I am a fan of any card that is weirdly shaped. Ooh, Dave Winfield. Hashtag do it for Dale. Shout out Zach and Adam. Is that in the right uniform? Yes, it is in the proper uniform. And we got a piece of the Clemente puzzle. And we got a stand-up of Wall... I'm wondering... Dave Winfield, I don't believe signs. Dave Smith... Could we get a giant card signed? Or a pop-up signed? I have legitimately never actually opened a pack of these. I've seen people opening them. Never once have I had a chance. I was today years old, ladies and gentlemen, the first time I opened the Donruss pop-up puzzle and cards. Man, these are nice. Dale and Dave are going to stay up there throughout the rest of it. Dale, Dave, and Dave. Triple Dave. There you go. That is awesome. So one of the... I'm definitely going to send to them. I think Dale signs with a fee, so I might have to get that one signed. But Justin and 3 good nerds and family, thank you guys absolutely so much. That is amazing. That is really, really, really cool. And I can't wait to really do some digging into this set, because I know you had a lot of the set you were giving away. Anyway, link to them down below, and I apologize for the rambling, but whenever, I kind of get overwhelmed whenever I get stuff like this in the mail. It's like, because I knew I had won a giveaway, and he said it was one of the autographed cards. And then when a box shows up, it just completely... It truly is overwhelming, and I don't use that word lightly, because I get, a little flustered, a little tongue-tied, and this and that, but appreciate it every time anybody takes the time. Speaking of everybody taking the time, it hasn't been that long, because I think they're back on the proper schedule now. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, History by Mail has returned, because I just re-upped my subscription. And I think they finally got back, because they were almost like a month behind. Like, I was getting July's in August. But now this is August, and I have August's. So what do we have in History by Mail this week? This month, rather. Headquarters, 142nd Infantry AEF, January 23rd, 1919. All right, well, we've narrowed it down. APO number 796. Classification canceled by the authority of the Adjutant General. Major Adjutant General, I cannot read that signature, unfortunately, but there's writing in the margin. Looks like location? No, scratched out. I literally cannot read that, but... From CO, 142nd Infantry to Commanding General 36th Division, attention Captain Spence. Oh, here we go. Subject, transmitting messages in Choctaw. In compliance with the Memorandum, Headquarters 36th Division, January 21st, 1919 to CO, 142nd Infantry, the following account is submitted. In the first action of the 142nd Infantry is Saint Etienne, it was recognized that all of the various methods of liaison the telephone presented the greatest possibilities. The field of rocket signals is restricted to a small number of agreed signals. The runner system is slow and hazardous. Well, it's a war. TPS, maybe some sort of telegraph system, is always an uncertain quantity. It may work beautifully, and again, it may be entirely worthless. It has to be telegram. The available means, therefore, for rapid and full transmission of information are the radio, buzzer with 3 Z's, must be a typo, and telephone. And of these, the telephone was by far the superior, provided it could be used without let or hindrance, provided straight to the point information could be given. Fair enough. It was well understood, however, that the German was a past master in the art of listening in. Moreover, from Saint Etienne to Eisen, we had traveled through a country netted with German wires and cables. We established PCs in dugouts and houses, but recently occupied by him. PCs by him. There was every reason to believe every decipherable message or word going over our wires was also went to the enemy. And that's a fair assumption back then, especially. A rumor was that our division had given false coordinates of our supply dump, and that in 30 minutes the enemy shells were falling on that point. Whew. Half an hour. We can barely do that now, and this was over 100 years ago. In the middle of a war. Where was I? We felt sure the enemy knew too much. It was therefore necessary to code every message of importance, and coding and decoding took valuable time. Correct. While comparatively inactive at Vaux-Champagne, it was remembered that the regiment possessed a company of Indians. I wonder if that's... Indian dialect? Yeah, okay, now it's starting to make more sense. They spoke 26 different languages or dialects, only 4 or 5 of which were ever written. There was hardly one chance in a million that Fritz would be able to translate these dialects, and the plan to have these Indians transmit telephone messages was adopted. I remember reading about this. The regiment was fortunate in having 2 Indian officers who spoke several of the dialects. Indians from the Choctaw tribe were chosen and placed in each PC. The first use of the Indians was made in ordering a delicate withdrawal of 2 companies of the 2nd Battalion from Chifilly to Chardani. I don't think it's Chardonnay, but Chardani. On the night of October 26. This movement was completed without mishap, although it left the 3rd Battalion greatly depleted in previous fighting without support. The Indians were used repeatedly on the 27th in preparation for the assault on Forest Farm. The enemy's complete surprise is evidence that he could not decipher the messages. After the withdrawal of the regiment to Loupe-le-Petit, I apologize, France. A number of Indians were detailed for training and transmitting messages over the telephone. The instruction was carried on by the liaison officer, Lieutenant Black. It had been found that the Indians' vocabulary of military terms was insufficient. The Indian for big gun was used to indicate artillery. Little gun shoot fast was substituted for machine gun, and the battalions were indicated by 1, 2, and 3 grains of corn. Fascinating. It was found that the Indian tongues do not permit verbatim translation. Well, most translations don't, for that matter. But at the end of the short training period at Loupé-le-Petit, the results were very gratifying, and it is believed had the regiment gone back into the line, fine results would have been obtained. We were confident in the possibilities of the telephone, that the possibilities of the telephone had been obtained without its hazards. A.W. Bloor, Colonel, 142nd Infantry Commanding. That is very fascinating, and one that we could actually read, so we can just do a cursory glance over this. And this is just to summarize what we just saw. Let's see if there's anything interesting. April 16th, several thousand Native Americans from dozens of various tribes volunteered to fight along the Allied powers. Several of these Native Americans, as we saw, in the 142nd Infantry was lucky enough to have a few officers. The enclosed document was written by the CO of the 142nd Infantry Regiment to the commanding general of the 36th Division. The letter was written just 2 months after the end of the war, with the commanding officer briefing his commanding general on the use of the Choctaw Code during the war. Europeans began to settle the New World. They interacted with Native Americans they encountered. Over time, many Native American tribes adopted elements of European culture. The European settlers identified 5 tribes, known colloquially as the 5 civilized tribes they considered to be civilized, a pejorative term. The Cherokee, Chickasaw, Creek, or Muskogee, and Seminole tribes adapted some form of Christianity. I believe the Seminoles down in Florida never have officially surrendered to the United States, from what I understand. Focus. There we go. From former Christianity, literacy, written constitutions, intermarriage with European settlers, slavery, and centralized government, among other elements of European culture. Fun. The Choctaw tribe, one of the 5, is from what would later become the states of Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, and Louisiana. During the War of 1812, the Choctaw tribe allied themselves with the U.S. Yet afterwards were forced to cede millions of acres of land to the U.S. government and relocate to Oklahoma, the Oklahoma area under the 1830 Indian Removal Act. The Trail of Tears refers to the series of forced relocations of over 100,000 Native Americans from the southeast U.S. to areas west of the Mississippi River. Yeah, that was just not a good period in American history. But, not a good period in world history. There often aren't. Every country has those, so. During World War I, a large problem. Yep, okay, the Germans intercepted. We talked about that in the thing. Okay, here we go. Commander of the 30th overheard 2 of his soldiers speaking in their native language, Choctaw. Okay, so that's how they discovered it. The commander realized the regiment possessed Native Americans who spoke 26 different languages and dialects, so he persuaded his commanders to distribute Choctaw speakers to various headquarters. Makes sense. Supervised Grenadier, yep. 2 officers were selected to supervise among 18 other Choctaw soldiers. At the end of the war, effectively transmitted telephone messages. Yep, the October 26th one we just talked about there. And that we figured out. Choctaw language lacked many. Yep, we saw that. Oh, okay. So casualties were replaced with scalps. Machine gun was little gun shoot fast. And grenade was stone. I mean, it makes sense if, you have to substitute. These words, however, never had the chance to be put into effect in World War I because the war ended a few days later on November 11th, 1918. I was wondering why that date was 1919. And then that begat the World War II Code Talkers. And that is that's fascinating. I know the Navajo, especially the Navajo Code Talkers, are some of the most storied. In the World War I era, not all Native Americans have been granted full U.S. citizenship. Further, a system of government-run boarding schools, was attempting to acculturate, I didn't know that was a word, Native Americans. Ironically, while the American government greatly benefited from the Native American languages during the World Wars, Native Americans were being actively discouraged from speaking their native languages back home in the U.S., and that is truly unfortunate because it makes me think that possibly in my lifetime, some of these native languages will be gone because there aren't many, especially like Navajo and things like that, because a lot of them just aren't spoken. the younger generations don't seem to have any interest in carrying it on, and that to me is truly unfortunate. But what is not unfortunate is how amazing this mail day was and how long this was. So I apologize. Hopefully by the time you've gotten there, you've taken a couple of breaks because this was a lot. But we got us a stack of awesome, and this is going to come into some bonus rips plus some good times. Also, stay tuned to Three Good Nerds channel because there's something in the works. I'm not going to give up any secrets, mainly because I don't know any secrets, because I have now forgotten them as I brought this up. However, stay tuned to his channel because there's going to be some information coming out about it. Thank you much. Hopefully everybody had a great weekend. There we go. And a good lead into the new week. We'll see you tomorrow, everyone.